Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with the track guide at Interlagos in the Group 3 cars. We're using the Audi R8 for this track guide. We have done the track guide at this track in the past, however it didn't incorporate obviously the steering inputs and the pedal inputs that we now put into this. Also the tyre model and physics have slightly changed on the game since them updates, so we're going to use the Audi R8 for this one. The Audi R8 now is probably the strongest or one of the stronger cars at Interlagos around, obviously in Group 3, in the class of Group 3, so that's why we're using it. It's got the most potential. It is a very tricky car to drive, but once you get the hang of this car and how to get the most out of it, it is one of the most rewarding Group 3 cars there is on the game. Obviously no tyre wear for Daily Race B this week, so it's a really good choice for the track if you can start getting used to it. You can see how it's kind of drifting through some of these corners. This was quite an aggressive lap. I didn't expect it to be as fast as it was when I went over the line because there was a few mistakes in it, which I will point out. But we got a really good slingshot off the final corner, which probably helped achieve the lap time that we did, a 1:30.95, I think. So just under the 1:31 mark. We jumped on very early in the morning, got a 1:30.9, but a very late one. But unfortunately I wasn't recording, so I had to jump back on and got this lap done. So we're going to go through the track guide, try and point out some of the brake markers for you, try and point out some of the areas where I might have lost time and where I gained time to see where I excelled out of the corners and stuff like that. This track is all about, very much so, is about slowing fast out on so many of the corners. As we go into turn 1 now, we're going to be looking to brake in between the 100 and the 50 board on the right hand side. So you see just pretty much dead in the middle there, hitting the brake very aggressively now, and then we're going to trail brake all the way into this corner. It's really important to get that trail braking. You can see the control that you have trail braking all the way into the corner now, and just there you'll see now we want to really attack the second part of this the chicane, this really fast center S, as we go downhill now. This is where you're going to cut the corner slightly. You can see the right hand tyre just skimming the grass on the right hand side, and you don't want your left hand tyre to go past the curb on the apex there, because you will pick up a penalty if you do that. So you got to make sure that the majority of your car is still on the curb. And now accelerating out of this corner, maximum throttle. Just be careful that it doesn't start sliding the car, because if it does start sliding, it does have a tendency to lose a bit of grip, and it will bog down a bit and you'll lose a bit of acceleration out onto this straight. Now braking, I brake pretty much dead on that 100 board. You can brake slightly later and go for a different way of taking this corner, but I like to brake pretty much dead on it. Go down to third gear. I do not go down to second gear. I stay in third gear. You'll watch now. Down to third gear, and I really try and get the left hand tyre to get onto this curb on the left hand side, and then get on the pal very early. Like I say, I like to go for a very much slow in fast out approach to a lot of the corners in this track, and you'll see maximum throttle already all the way out to the full width of the track, just about staying on the curb there, and we really gained a lot of time there. You can see the ghost behind pulled away from that very nicely. Now into the next right hander, braking again just short of the 50 board on the left hand side, and down into fourth gear and then third gear, and then again you want to get the right hand tyre to bite into that curb there. You want to be skimming this curb on the right hand side to know that you're hooking it up properly, and then just lift off the throttle and let it coast for a bit, and just gradually feather the throttle in. You see how I'm playing with that throttle all the way through this corner, because I don't want to go too far wide, and that just enables you not to run too far wide. And this is pretty much the limit of what you can go to. And as soon as we're in a straight line, hitting the brakes, and just be careful of the rear end as you hit the brakes, because you're on that curb. Down into second gear, don't go into first gear. I like to stay in second, keeps the car a little bit more stable, and try and get your right hand tyre to almost skim that grass on the right hand side there. Don't go over it too much, because you will pick up a corner cut, but just skimming it on the right hand side. And now for this left hand corner, you want to be getting your left hand tyre pretty much on that white line. I actually got it too far over onto the curb a bit. You can see how the rear goes loose, and at this point I just floor it and hope for the best. And you can see we actually get reasonably good exit from that corner, because I just floored it and hoped that it would bite into the tarmac, and it did. Now for the next braking zone, just before the green Astro on the left hand side, pretty much midway point there, hard on the brakes and then trail brake all the way into the corner, down into second gear, and again trying to skim the curb. You can actually get on that curb a little bit more on that corner. I kind of was a bit too soft. I could have gone a bit more aggressive and got on that, but however on the exit we got really good traction because we didn't get on that curb, so we worked out the corner quite nice. And now on this left hand corner, you got to be aggressive and just be ready for the rear to step out. You can see fighting with that rear end all the way through the corner up into fourth gear, and then braking I prefer to, again on this corner, brake a little bit earlier, as you see the braking inputs going in there, down into second gear, and that enables you then to hit the left hand tyre onto this curb just there perfectly. and then it enables you to get on the throttle nice and early, and which is where you're going to gain a lot of time at Interlagos. If you're on the throttle really early out of this corner, you can see maximum throttle now. early upshift into third, now going up the hill, and that enables you to accelerate and pull all the way up this hill, and it will gain you a little bit of time as we now work our way to the finishing line for a reasonably good lap time. As you can see, staying to the left hand side for this optimal line, try and straighten it off just as you come out of that corner though, and a 1 minute 30.959 I think it is, so not a bad lap at all. But it was temporarily ranked 1 in the world, ranked 1 in EU, and I think it's now down to about P4 or 5, but it's still in that top 10 stars, so it's a reasonably good lap. And we're going to let you watch it now from the chase camera, just so I can show you about obviously pushing the limits on the track whips as well. You're going to see now out of this left hander up here, just look how close our right hand tyre was to running over the curb on the right hand side. And this is what I say about, you know, really making sure you excel on the exit speeds. Just look at that rear right hand tyre, inches away from losing control of the car as we then work uphill and into these flowing right hand corners. You're going to see what I'm talking about. We're fighting with the rear end with this car, but it's a car that once you get used to driving, it likes to be driven like that. Obviously with tyre wear on, it wouldn't be the best way to drive this car. You'd have to be a bit more gentle. But even then, it is such a nice car to drive. You see the rear started to step out there. That was a little bit of a mistake on my behalf. I got onto the curb too much and maybe lost a bit of time there, because the car won't accelerate as well when it's like losing traction like that. And again, out of this left-hander, it's preferable not to lose the rear, but you can see how it started to go, but we managed to hold it. And then the final corner, we really got a nice slingshot out of this. You can see hitting the apex perfectly all the way to the edge of the track on the curb. And we did that corner really well. We actually gained a bit of time there, I think, with the exit that we got from that corner. So quite a nice last corner, and just about got us into the 1 minute 30. So quite a nice lap. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with the full lap driving on board with all the cameras without slow motion, so you can watch it in full speed. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section if it's helped you improve. Let me know if you've enjoyed it, and we'll be doing more of these videos in the future. Hopefully Daily Race C will be out tomorrow for the track guide for the Tokyo track in the Lamborghini, so that will be out tomorrow also. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back very soon. Have a great day, everyone.